When we've been listening together to Madison, Wisconsin Police Chief Sean Barnes. The mayor of Madison is also there. We've heard from her and other officials. They've been providing an update on a tragic situation that unfolded this morning when a gunman opened fire inside a school. 3 people are, as of this hour, dead. That includes the shooter. 6 people were injured and then transported to area hospitals. Police say their injuries range from minor to life-threatening. The shooter is a teenager and a student at the school, which is a small private Christian school with fewer than 400 students. Those students range from kindergartners to 12th graders. The shooting taking place just days before a scheduled Christmas holiday break. At this hour, police say they are combing through the area for any evidence or anything, really, that could provide some information on exactly what happened and why. But they do not believe that there is an ongoing threat to the public at this time. Police say that they do not know the shooter's motive. It's where we start today with former Assistant Director for Counterintelligence at the FBI, senior MSNBC National Security and Intelligence Analyst Frank Figliuzzi's back. Here with me at the table, NBC News National Law Enforcement and Intelligence Correspondent Tom Winters back, and Democratic strategist and professor at Columbia University, MSNBC political analyst Basil Smikles back. Tom Winter, what do we know?
So a couple of details from that press conference, some of which are new, which is the fact that the shooter allegedly used a handgun in the commission of this crime today. We're looking at 2 individuals at the school. We don't know yet with certainty, and I apologize. We had a little bit of a cutoff in the top of the press conference, so maybe the chief addressed it, but at least 2 individuals at the school are deceased, a number that are injured, ranging from minor injuries to life-threatening injuries. Don't know yet if those are students or teachers that were involved. As far as the individual that is responsible for the shooting, also identified as a juvenile who attends that school. Now, what we don't know, this school goes from kindergarten to 12th grade, so we don't know the age. That's a huge spread, obviously, but we don't know the age. We don't yet have a motive. That's not surprising. We're less than 6 hours or so into this, and so we wouldn't necessarily have that information at this stage unless they had some sort of writing or made a statement prior to this. The chief said something, I think, interesting. They're going to wait for the medical examiner to make a determination, but he pointed out that when officers went in the school, the shooter was already deceased. So obviously this happened ahead of time. There's only 2 potential outcomes there, is that this was a self-inflicted gunshot wound or that somebody else there had a gun, but I think he would have said so if that was the case. Taking a step back here, having covered I don't know how many school shootings, I'm not going to do the math, covering the Newtown school shooting, which occurred 12 years ago, plus 2 days. The impact on this community, whether the shooting happens in February, June, September, or December, just a week or so before Christmas, it's always going to be traumatic. But the way it impacts around the holidays of these families and these kids is very, very difficult. And that community will go through a very difficult time in the next couple of weeks. And so it was refreshing to see as strong and clear and detailed the information that we had from that police chief. It was nice to hear them kind of bring it back towards the victims and the families at the end, because that is very important. And having done this early in my career, all the focus all the time on the suspect, who did it, why did they do it, what was going on. And over the years, in speaking with these groups and speaking with victims groups, that is such a huge component, and that's the everlasting component of it. And so it's kind of changed my approach a little bit, and that's why the reason I mention it here today. But again, still need to determine how the weapon was obtained, who this kid was, the motive behind it, and then figure out if anybody else is going to face charges, though there's been no indication that to date that anybody else is involved in this. It's
such an interesting point that you make, and I'm so changed by Fred Guttenberg and his daughter Jamie, and Fred's service in doing, I mean, you arrived at what you're describing, sort of a victim-focused lens through which you view these by covering so many of them. I have sat here while Uvalde was unfolding, while Parkland was unfolding, but I think with all of Fred's admonitions in mind, lives were changed of the victims' families forever.
Right.
I mean, forever. December 16th will mean something different to these families forever. And coming 2 days after the anniversary of Newtown, I believe the 12-year anniversary
Correct.
of Newtown, is beyond haunting.
Yeah.